To the Bender Bunker, your one-stop shop for B-Bender guitar-related videos. And as the title of the video implies, today we are going to try and use the B-Bender to unlock the mysteries of the mighty C-chord. That's right, one chord to rule them all. Well, maybe. But it's actually a pretty handy little chord shape I'm finding out, because the concept of this video was, let's work on something a bit more rhythmically. Most of the B-Bender lessons we post on this channel are kind of lead B-Bender, because I've always heard that's what the ladies like. But it's important, of course, to have something to play over. So you got to really not ever forget about how important rhythm playing is. I mean, without rhythm, there's nothing to play over, and you're just playing with yourself, and we don't want that. Well, not too much. So what we're doing is, the opening there was your basic kind of cowboy chords. G, C, there was a D involved, and then the second part had an F. It's really just four basic open chords. And so my thought process was, okay, from a rhythmic standpoint, what can we do to complement it? Let's say we've got a singer who's already kind of doing the rhythm chords, and we're over there trying to complement them with our rhythm playing and use the B-Bender at the same time. And that's kind of where the concept of the unleashing the C chord came. Everything you heard me play in the opening over the looping track was this C chord shape. It was just simply moved up and down the neck to correspond with the chord changes, but the C chord shape never changed. I just used my little finger off and on the B string in the bender to create the variations you heard me play. So again, I think it's a real nice way to use the C chord shape to give you some rhythmic options to complement whatever the basic chords are already doing. So if you'd like to join me on this mighty mystery of B-bending the mysteries of the C chord, let's do it. Stay tuned, because it's coming up next. Well, all right. I can see by your choice to join me here, you were ready to help me unlock the mysteries of the C chord with the B-Bender. We're going to do that. We're going to have all kinds of fun. But first, I would be remiss if I didn't take a moment and send out some thank yous and some shout outs to two very important events. Since I last saw you in our last lesson several weeks ago, the Bender Bunker exceeded 500 subscribers, and I just want to thank everyone who's taken a moment to subscribe to the channel. And like I said, 500 apparently is a milestone. I even got an automated email from YouTube stating as much, so wow, okay. And on to 1,000, but again, I do want to thank everyone that's gone ahead and said, yeah, I'd like to see more of this B-bending madness, and hit that subscribe button. And if this is the first time for you, and you like B-benders and twang guitar kind of stuff, hit that subscribe button while you're thinking about it, because you might forget, and we do try to put out 2 or 3 of these a month to keep things moving and interesting if we can. So again, thank you to everyone that subscribed. Cue the cheesy graphic. There we go. Secondly, I need to definitely say thank you and a shout out to 2 of our subscribers and viewers. That is going to be Kurt and David. And Kurt is in, I'm going to get this right, Kurt is in Maryland and David is in Michigan. Both those gentlemen, since I last saw everyone here on the channel, sent some very generous virtual beer donations to the bunker via PayPal. And I just wanted to say thank you to Kurt and David for doing so. I did spend it on beer, and it was the tastiest of all beers, because of course the best beer is free beer. So thank you, gentlemen. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just real briefly, the title of our channel, of course, is The Bender Bunker. You'll see that down below. If you hit the title, you go to our main YouTube page, and up in the upper right-hand corner on that banner is a very discreet, very tasteful PayPal button. It says send beer money. And if you have a PayPal account, you can send a virtual beer over to the Bender Bunker anytime you want. So again, thank you to subscribers. Thank you to Kurt and David. And now on to unlocking the mysteries of the C chord. Well, all right, let's get unlocking the mysteries of the B-Bender C chord shape. You know, this song is in the key of G, and long before I even had a B-Bender in my arsenal, anytime I was playing with another guitar player and the song was in G, and they were just kind of using the regular G chord down here, I would always tend to complement it by taking the C chord shape up here and making this G chord up here with the C shape. So that's really the kind of what gets this party started, since the song is in G. Real quick, again, anytime you see my hand, it is your traditional C chord, and it's just moving up and down the neck, and it's the little finger and the bender that are doing all the variations on the theme. So again, this song is in G, so what that means is the C chord shape for G's up here. Your index finger should be on the B string 8th, and then you make a C chord from there, ending up with your, of course, your ring finger on the A string 10th to make that C chord. Now, a real nice sounding G up here with the C chord shape is to go ahead and add your little finger on the high E 10th. Okay, so we're in G, so that's where the G C chord shape is going to be in this lesson. Then the song goes to C, regular C chord. Comes back to G, back where we were. When it goes to D, that's down here. The C chord shape's down here. That's just 2 up from a regular C, as you would expect. Same if you made a bar chord. 2 up is D, C chord shape, 2 up is C. And then the only variation, as I mentioned at the opening, there's an F chord. That F chord is, as you would expect, 2 down from your G chord shape. So you move it down here, okay? So that's really it. Your C chord is moving up to those 4 positions. Your main G chord section here, regular C chord, 2 up is your D, and then 2 down from your G is your F. Okay, let's just cover that. Now what I've done is I've taken those shapes and then I've added some little finger movement and some B bender to give you these variations to kind of get the juices flowing and see what you can do with your bender on some of the stuff. Take what you like, make it your own. That's the whole point of these lessons. But what we're going to start with is... And it's not that bad because, again, all I'm doing is I'm holding that C chord shape and I'm just moving my little finger between the B string and the high E string and using the bender. So in this case, what I'm doing is I've got the C chord shape in place for the G. I'm going to go ahead and let my little finger be on the B string 10th. Once I get it there, I'm down picking that chord. I'm starting with the A string. That's your root note there. And of course, it sounds that way because, again, you've got your little finger already in place on the 10th fret B string. As I down pick, I'm taking the bender up with it, and when I get to the down pick, the bender's all the way up, and I'm going to leave it there for a while. So just leave that engaged, and I'll tell you when to bring it back down, okay? So here we go. Okay, bender's fully engaged. What we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and note that B string 10th with the little finger, and then note the open G string next to it. After we hit that open G string, that allows them just enough time for our little finger to move over 1 up to the high E 10th. Once we get it there, that is the note we're going to hit, and we're going to go high E 10th, B string covered by the index finger in that C chord shape, and then the open G string. So that's what we've got so far. That's it. The bender's still engaged, so let's work on getting it down there now. The way we do that is we let our little finger come back over to the B string 10th. Once we get it there, we pick that note. Go ahead and hit the open G string next to it as we did before. Now take the little finger off so we can hit our index finger there on the 8th and letting the bender down. All right, real slow. This is what that sounds like. Strings open. I tend to mute a little bit with my palm on the back here to give it a little bit more percussive sound. That's probably what you heard me do in the opening. Use salt and pepper to taste, whatever works for you, but that's what you're hearing me do. When you hear that more percussive sound, I'm just muting a little bit with my palm. The song now is going to go to C, so good news, we get to take our C chord shape back where it was born, make a C chord. Okay, once we've got that C chord in place, though, it's going to be very much what we just did. We're going to go ahead and let our little finger go on the B string 3rd, and then we're going to down pick that, starting on the A string there, we're going to down pick that C chord. Bender goes with it like we did before. Again, little finger's already in place on the B string 3rd. So we're going to do that. Once we get the bender and the down pick and the bender up, go ahead and hit your little finger B string 3rd. The open G string next to it. Let your little finger up. Hit the B string with your index finger, covering it there on the 1st. Bender comes down, and then open G string. So here's what we've got so far. take that C chord shape back to where we started, to the G position, and just strike it. You don't have to do anything with the bender. I'm coming off this. Go back to the C chord, repeat what you just did. Okay, so here's what we've got so far. Shifting to D. So we're going to take our C chord shape down to here, which is 2 up from the regular C chord shape. Just go 2 up and now you're in the C chord shape for D for this lesson. And that's going to sound like this once we get there. And the way we do that is the way we've always been doing the other 2 times we just did this. We're going to go ahead and let our little finger go on the B string, in this case on the 5th fret. And we're going to down pick that, taking the bender all the way up with it. Okay, once we get there, we're going to do what we have been doing, which is hit the B string there on the 5th with our little finger, and then the G string open next to it. So in this case, we're doing that, right? We just down picked it. And then once we got to the top with the bender engaged, we are hitting the 5th fret with our little finger on the B string, and then the open G string next to it. Go ahead and let your little finger up so your index finger there on the 3rd can be noted, letting our bender down, and then hit your G string. So that's that sequence. Now, take your little finger, high E 5th. So now we have this. Now go ahead and hit that G string open again. And then go ahead and hit the B string that's still being covered by your index finger in that C chord shape, and give the bender an up and down. So all together we have this. Open G string. By the time I get to there, it's just the C chord shape. My little finger's not doing anything, and the bender's up and down. G string. So here's what we've got so far. With the backing track, so you can have a little bit of context, because we're going to probably not remember what the opening sounded like. So here we go. I'm going to play it with the backing track, or try to. So that's it. That's the first half of this. I'm going to be right back with the second half. Stand by. All right, continuing on. Now the song is going to shift to that extra 4th chord, which is the F chord. Going to go C, and then back to our dominant key of G. So we've got to move our C chord shape accordingly. And as I mentioned at the opening, the shape we're using with the C chord for F is going to be right here. Of course, we start here in G. So as you would expect, same as a bar chord, you just move it down to you're in F. And the way we're going to play these parts for F is like this. And the song goes to C. So we're going to take that shape down to C and do the exact same thing. All right, so when the song shifts to F, we've got our C chord shape there, 2 down from where our G is. And what I'm doing is I'm starting with my little finger on the high E of that shape. So in this case, that's high E 8th string. So I'm hitting the root note of F, which is going to be your A string on the 8th fret. Now I've got to have the bender pre-engaged for this. So as I'm hitting that root note, I'm getting the bender pre-engaged because I want to hit it down when I finally get to the B string. So in this case, I'm going. So it's a 3-note hit, really. You're starting with your root note there on the 8th fret, A string. Then you're going up to your high E covered by your little finger on the 8th. Then you're hitting the B string covered by your index in that C chord shape, letting the bender down. F, right? Take that exact same shape down to where it was born, the C chord shape. Again, boy, that is your high E on the third with your little finger, because we're doing the same thing. Hit your root note C. So exact same thing, just back to C there. So here we are in F. Then the song goes back to its root key of G. So we go back to our G position. Now when we get there, our final riff we have to learn is this. So let's do that. All right, C chord shape, assume the position. And by that I mean the C chord shape for G up here. And little finger, high E 10th on this one. That's a pretty common thing we've been doing a lot, right? So we're going to start this final sequence in G by hitting the root note there on our A string 10th, and then echoing that with the high E 10th as well with our little finger. So kind of what we just did already with the F and C, we're kind of mimicking that, just a slightly different rhythm. So root note, high E 10th with the little finger, bender already engaged at that point, letting it down when we hit that index finger there on the 8th. And then I'm hitting the G string open, because now I started with this bottom note to root it. Well, of course, you've got an open G string in this pattern as well. That's just another way to root the fact that we're in G. So I start with the first note on that bottom note in G, and then I use the open G for the root of the rest of this riff. Open G string. Now, little finger shifts over to B string 10th. Taking the bender up when I hit it. G string, our root G string open. Little finger comes off, so I can hit the index finger on the B string and let it down. So all together, that sequence is G string, little finger, B string 10th, bender goes up, open G string, little finger comes off, index finger, B string down there on the 8th. That sounds with what we learned with the F and the C before. It sounds like the. And I do when I do the last, that repeats twice. When I do the last one, I do kind of go up and down on the bender there on that last note. Before we move on, I also want to show you, I play the C, or excuse me, the F and the C the way I just showed you. It repeats twice on the backing track. What I do the next time is I go ahead and do the same shape. Again, your high E covered by your little finger as well. In this case, on, what is that, the 8th. What I'll do then, the second time I play the sequence, I'll just make the shape and I'll just down pick it. Down pick it, and then once I have the bender up, I'll do the high E string there with my little finger already in place. Come back to the B string, letting it down. So I won't pick it like I was doing before. I'll strum the whole chord into it. And now, you could do the exact same thing, strum it down here in the C, but what you saw me do in the opening, what I like to do is take that C chord we would normally go to now and take it up an octave. So it's the same C chord, but an octave up here, right? Just make the C chord above the 12th fret, so it's an octave up. Same shape we just learned. Again, just put your high E now on the, what the heck is that? That's your 15th. So C chord up here, high E on the 15th, and we do that strum pattern up here for that. Now I find to make this sound a little bit not too shrilly on the telly, I move my hand up on the neck because we're getting really high up and it's getting a little shrill. So I'll do the F and C sequence the first way, and then I'll come back and do it the way I just showed you. So when you do it the second way, octave, come back back to that final G resolution, and it's the same riff we already went over. And that, my friend, is the entire opening that you saw me play, and it's using the C chord in 4 different shapes, and of course the octave as well for kind of almost a 5th shape, if you will, to track what the song's doing and use that C chord shape and the bender patterns I showed you with your little finger. I'm going to go ahead and play it with the backing track for context one last time, and then I'll get us on out of here because I've rambled enough. Again, I thank you to the subscribers, 500 plus, let's go for 1,000. Thank you to Kurt and David for the generous donations there in the virtual beers. And I'm going to play us on out of here, and hopefully this rhythm track was something you know, that you find useful. You know, you really can't have enough rhythm tricks with the B bender, and I'll try and come up with a few more. I mean, obviously, I know with this D chord shape, we could definitely do a whole one. That's a Marty Stewart favorite. So I don't know, we might do something with that in the near future. All right, I'm going to leave you as I always do with our Bender Bunker motto. Say it if you know it. It is never too late to go on a bender, and I certainly hope that you do. And if this is a good time to hit that like button if you enjoyed any part of the mysteries of the C chord. Share this with your friends if you think about it, and maybe they want to subscribe to become fellow Bender Bunker members. All right, I will see you next time, and then just do me a favor, make sure if you do anything, keep it bent.